Evening and welcome to the Town of Douglas Conservation Commission meeting for Monday, December 5th, 2022. Time is 7:02 PM. First item is mail. We have a letter for requesting the superseding order of conditions, Whiten Reservoir District DEP, that's just an FYI. Graves Engineering, Inc. report to Douglas Planning Board and Conservation Commission on Wallen Lake Solar Project, as-built plan review. That's also an FYI, and they haven't commenced any activity within our jurisdiction yet, so the order is still open and valid. Meeting minutes, September 12th, 2022, and October 3rd, 2022. Have we reviewed those?
Reviewed the first one,
Okay.
September 12th, but the October 3rd, I think this is the first time we've seen it
It is.
in the packet.
Okay.
No, for that.
Did you have any comments?
Oh, you gonna hit that now?
Just
On
the
September.
September 12th.
Hold on. Yeah, I reviewed September 12th, so, and I found it okay, so. If nobody objects, I'll make a motion if that's what you want.
Word?
Sounds good to me.
I'll obtain a motion.
Yeah, make a motion to approve the meeting minutes as written for September 12th, 2022.
Second.
Motion made by Mike, second by Mark. All those in favor?
Katie Dudley, aye.
Eric Harris, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Mangimai.
Okay, thank you. And we'll hold on October 3rd.
First time I've seen it.
Yes.
Okay. Discussion on adding a meeting on Monday. Excuse me, in the audience. I'm sorry. Mr. Minerick, if you want to go in the hallway. Okay, thank you. We have a discussion on adding a meeting on Monday, December 19th. I would say not prefer it.
It's fine.
Okay. Anyone feel strongly?
Yeah, why do we have to do that? Just for curiosity?
I think the 18 items was something
So that
to
we
do with
can work
that, but I
through
think
more
we're
agenda
gonna,
items.
I think we're gonna work through these agenda items
Okay.
tonight.
No objection.
Okay, all right. So, request for an extension on order of conditions for Manchong Pond Foundation. They're within their time frame. So, Steve, did you want to say anything about that item? We have the extension in our packet. I'm sorry, we can't really hear you. No. I can hear you a little bit.
You're just very faint.
Okay, so I will entertain a motion to grant the extension on the order of conditions, DEP number 1430956.
So moved.
Motion made by Mike,
Second.
second by Eric. All those in favor?
Katie Dudley, aye.
Eric Harris, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Mangimai.
Okay. Request for certificate of compliance, 245 Southwest Main Street. So that was a septic a while ago. The folders, I believe, are there if anybody wants to look at that, or if Steve wants to pull up the plan. The owner is also requesting to remove 2 dead pine trees, and we can condition that with the issuance of the certificate. Because I guess we told them to keep them, well, when it was approved 10 years ago, and they've
Since died.
died, yes.
In 10 years, that makes a lot of sense. Are they shown on the as-built?
They're probably, yeah, most likely.
Okay.
And we have a video also.
Oh, sweet.
Yes.
could be any of these.
So that's one of them. And the second one's a double, looks like. Towards the water.
Well, so they only have one on the water in this. Okay, well, those shown as a 30 and a 20, those shown as two separate trees.
Yeah.
That hemlock on the edge is this one, I think. It's right on the wall.
Yeah, I think so. Steve, the two pine trees that are dead, can you? No, not really.
I think it's because we're only hearing him through the computer speakers and not the speakers.
Oh, okay.
Should I try and do it?
Yep, there you go. Through the intercom system, maybe? No? Steve, could you pull up the as-built plan and show us the two dead pine trees that they'd like to remove? I would say no something. Does he not?
Yes.
Does he have share screen capabilities?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah, he already was. He's on the ComCon one, right?
yes.
Yep.
Yeah, he was just sharing it earlier.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he hit the
I'm just
video.
trying to touch base with Pat about this policy.
About the
Okay,
sound.
thank you.
Yeah, I think she needs to send it through an output.
Yeah, we're just hearing you through the television.
That's it.
Yeah. Do you have the location of those two trees to be removed?
Well, one of them's outside the jurisdiction.
Oh.
One of them was the one, did you see it with the,
You'll have to mute your computer too.
Yellow tape.
There you go.
We have this plan in the package.
So,
He has the folder right there.
has,
so that tree right there.
The plan?
One with the ribbon on it?
yes.
Not in the package.
That's the one that's outside of their stuff.
So that one there is outside, if not
That big one next to
close
the,
to it. No.
this one is on the 50-foot buffer. So what's the one that's jurisdictional?
I think it's these two they'd like to take down. This one here,
Yeah,
which is pretty bad. And then the one when I pan to the right.
Those are both within the 50.
Yeah,
Okay.
this one's dead. Commission asked to save it about 10 years ago.
that's fair.
Cable.
And then I think the one to the right.
Is the one to the right that you're questioning the jurisdiction of, or
No? I think
That's a
they just-
dumbo.
They just like to take them down.
you think this one?
Yes.
And you think that one's,
No, I think it's one of these and that one. Where the septic was
yeah, but
installed.
this is, you're saying this is the double? Because this is shown as two trees on the
Yeah, then,
as-built.
yeah. then-
Okay.
Then that would be the double tree.
Okay.
Okay, board, what do you think?
I just don't understand why I don't have a plan.
Well, we have it online.
The plan? Should be here.
Plan for the Walnut Road.
let me go look for it.
Could you pull it up on the screen, Steve? Thank you. Could you make this window bigger too? Thank you.
I don't know if that fixed the volume. He
Uh.
was trying to tell me to troubleshoot, but didn't seem to be the issue.
Okay.
I have it right now. Is that Mark? Pretty much.
And could you use a cursor to point to the trees to be
Are they
removed?
in here? Are they here? You
Oh.
guys want to explain it?
Oh, sorry. Name and address, please. Just point to the trees that you're going to be requesting to be removed.
Okay. This one? And that one.
Okay.
So there's one, or is that a double, like
One's already.
under the red? Okay.
Yeah.
So one's already gone.
Yeah.
The one that says
Okay.
20 inches, the lower, smaller one, yeah, already.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Makes
that.
a lot more sense. Thank you.
Yeah, we were wondering where that other tree went.
Great.
Okay. Board, any other questions? Would say no stumping
Correct.
and.
No stomping.
Yeah. Are you okay with that?
Yep.
Okay.
So these trees are not providing any shade right now? for the
No.
wetland?
I mean,
They're dead.
you
No,
can imagine how much shade you would get from a dead pine tree at that distance.
And to the, the shoreline.
Well, I mean, the shoreline's yonder, so. It's probably
The
30,
one on the
25.
50 foot probably does provide a little bit of shade, but the shade's going to be in winter time, not in the summertime. So I
Yeah.
don't think it's going to make any difference. That's the south side. So I don't have a problem with it.
Okay, so I will entertain a motion to grant the certificate of compliance with the permission to remove 2 dead pine trees and with no stumping. Do I hear a
So
motion?
moved.
Motion made. Katie Gray.
Second.
Second by Eric. All those in favor?
KG Dudley, aye.
Eric Harris, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Mangumai.
Okay, thank you very much. Good luck. Okay, so we have request for replication bond release, 149 Southeast Main Street. You guys already had approved that, so we're signing that tonight, right?
Yeah, you issued a certificate of compliance on
Yes.
crossing last meeting.
Yep,
So they're just, now that you approved it, they want their bond money back.
Okay.
that makes sense.
Do you want a motion on that?
Yeah.
Okay,
And then
I'll
sign.
entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion made to
Second.
release the replication bond for 149 Southeast Main Street. Made by Katie Gray, second by Mike. All those in favor?
KG Dudley, aye.
Eric Harris, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Mangumai.
Thank you. Okay, CRG 105, 123 Gilboa Street, Ecotech Review Proposal for Third-Party Environmental Monitoring. So I will need a vote to approve that proposal.
Which,
It is in the package and in the blue package in front of you, it's to be signed along with a couple other documents for.
Okay.
So they agreed to that, the applicant.
Oh, okay.
Agreed, he sent the checks already in hand
oh, wow.
for him
Yep.
to do the work, so
It's right here.
they've actually started working out there. Their consultant has been, their SWIP consultant, has been giving reports along with Yankee Engineering, which is on behalf of the building inspector. And Art will be doing supplemental work like he did with Blackstone Logistics.
Wonderful.
So is Todd here?
Yes, in the audience. Name and address, please.
Todd Moore, Gills Associates, to Park Plaza, Suite 200, Boston, Mass. Here for CRG. We went over the proposal, we got a check, sent it in. That's about all I have to say.
That's awesome.
Okay. I entertain a motion to accept the Ecotech review proposal for 105-123 Gilboa Street.
I move to accept the proposal.
Motion made, Katie Grace.
Second.
Second by Eric. All those in favor?
Katie Dudley, aye.
Eric Curtis, aye.
Mike Rocco, aye.
Mark Mangumai.
Okay. And then you also have a notice, just an update for us that you are expanding clearing limits.
Yeah, well, we'd like to. So I kind of went into a little bit more detail in my letter, but essentially, once the prior owner was done moving his piles around and removing earthwork, Clayco, the general contractor, went in, as well as JR Vinagro, started excavating some areas, doing some additional test pits. We found some, in the grand scheme of things, it's small areas of what we term as unsuitable materials. And basically what they are is, there's some areas where it's buried organics, some areas with some more cobbles in it. It's just a variety of things that we would not necessarily want to put under a building. If you recall our discussions throughout our process here in the town, we worked pretty hard to make sure this was going to be a balanced earthwork site, such that we didn't have a lot of import material. We didn't want a lot of export material, because that would just be truck after truck after truck. So when we found all this unsuitables, it caught us a little bit off guard. We had done somewhere between 75 and 100 test pits and borings throughout that site. Everything was very, very consistent, as you may expect on a site like that. So to find these, we were kind of scratching our heads, well, what do we do with all this material? If the material is limited to exactly what we think is out there and what we've uncovered to date, then we can spoil it on some of the non-structural side slopes, put it in there, bury it with 6 to 12 inches of loam and topsoil, and then seed and do our landscaping above that. The concern is, what if we continue to find more pockets as we work different areas of the site? What do we do there? We don't want to truck it off. We just don't want to do it. We don't want to put the truck traffic on the road. We pledged to the planning board we would not do that. So then the next thing we thought of was, well, let's try to find another area on the site that would be suitable to mine some gravel out of, put this material back in, and then restore. And that's what we're really talking about here. So if you look at that site, as you start to come off of Gilboa Street, you go across the bridge, up the hill, just before it starts to turn and drop back down into the site, the back side of that hill is where we'd like to do it. There's a pretty good indication right up there in that green spot. That does not drain towards any of the resource areas that we had identified. It drains back in towards the site. In fact, there's a low spot. If you look kind of, not too short for this, kind of up in that upper area right there where he's got the pointer right now, that's a little bit of a low spot. So it's really all kind of draining on itself. And then for restoration, what we propose to do is spread some topsoil over it, seed it, and then replant it with similar species of trees at a rate of 125% of what we cut down. So put more trees back than we take out. And then if we do take some trees out of there, we'll certainly catalog what those are for species so we know what we're putting back
Okay.
and try to replicate it.
And
As a further note, it is out of your jurisdiction, but since it has to do with the overall site, we thought it was appropriate to at least discuss it with you folks.
okay.
you aware.
Do you plan to put some erosion controls at the limits?
Yeah, it would probably be right along the top, and because of the way the topography sits in there, it's more of just a barrier of our limit of where we do it.
Yeah, because you've got the barrier shown
Yep.
right now.
Yep.
So just as far as,
So basically, where you see the edge of the green on that,
Right.
move the silt fence out.
okay, okay.
Like I said, it's not 100% for sure that we're going to do this. We
Right.
just need this as a contingency plan, so we don't have to stop and figure out what to do once we get
Okay.
to that point.
All right, excellent.
That's all I have.
Thank you very much for coming in. For no questions, right?
No question, thank you.
Excellent, thank you.
Have a good night now.
You too. Letter of intent for Walnut Street, 61B land, map 262, parcels 3.2, 5, and 6. We have a request in our packet, so they are removing it out of 61B. Or do we have any interest in recommending to purchase it.
Oh, sorry, where is it?
This is the one that came in front of the commission last summer, the 4 lots. We walked it, it was a little perennial stream, kind of logged it. It was a little violation from and they logged it a couple years ago. Fred Pilch's old property.
Yes. So it's the 28 acres that we had approved with the conservation restriction,
We can meet you. if
riverfront area.
Mr. Hill walked it.
You didn't give us the contract for purchase, though.
Is it in your file? Is it in your blue file?
What's the purchase price? Oh, wait, hold on a second. We've got 2 letters. We can request to purchase it for $110,000.
Thank you. Say for 110.
And must be. That was 3.2. You just have one
One what?
purchase and sales agreement?
That's all I got. I think it's one parcel.
It's not.
Well,
Is
it
anyone here on behalf of this?
was one parcel at one time.
They're requesting 3.2. They have a P&S for 3.2, 5 and 6.
3.2, 5, and 6. 3.2 is there. 5 and 6.
Right.
So really, yeah, it's I think it's a right of first refusal, so they have to, because chapter 61,
No,
they go
understood.
through all the boards. So you can give your recommendation to the selectmen either way.
I think we can only do the 3.2
Oh,
unless they have purchase and sales for the other 2 parcels.
that package is what I got.
Okay.
I didn't print it out. so that's in the cover sheet.
Yeah, so the copy of the purchase contract is attached here.
Right, so it's,
Do you have it?
yeah, it's right here, and it's only for parcel 3.2 at $110,000. So my only concern is if the other 2 parcels are $5,000 each, we don't have the information on the bona fide offer. So I think that we can only recommend based on the
The 3.2
purchase and sale
offer,
that
yeah.
we have in front of us.
Okay.
And then I guess you could relay.
Well, however you vote, you just do it based on the literature you got.
Right, so the 45 days started November 18th, so we're still okay if they need to, right? December, just about okay.
Unless, I mean, if you don't, I don't know, Brian's here, but if you don't vote on it, I think,
Attorney Winter?
if you don't plan on exercising the right on any of the parcels,
If it's $1,000, why wouldn't we buy it?
Right.
That's the whole point. Hello, good evening, Attorney Winter.
President, Madam Chair, how are you?
Good, how are you?
And I understand you had some problem with the audio earlier. Am I coming through?
Yes, it's very quiet.
Oh, well, I'll do my best.
Okay, so we have in front of us a request to remove some property out of 61B designation. We only have a copy of one of the parcels, P&Ss, for $110,000. They're requesting for all 3 parcels to be voted on, whether or not we would recommend the purchase or not.
That's a little bit of a disconnect. So you're just making a recommendation to the Board of Selectmen, I assume? But the selectmen, as well as other town departments, should have received a notice of intent to sell or convert that included all the chapter numbers that's available, right of first refusal. If you only have one in front of you, you can only vote one.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, it's for that specific parcel, 3.2. Can I have that back?
Separate notices of intent to sell or convert. Is this just missing from your package? You don't know?
We do not know. They're requesting 3.2, 5, and 6. Then we have a description, Lot 1, which is 90,000 square feet versus the 28 acres. So So I only have one purchase and sales in front of me. And I don't see the assessor's reference. So, board, I'll entertain a motion to, okay, nope, still not finding it.
Do we know
It's
if
just
this
lot
land
one.
abuts any other resource areas that might be,
That's what I was looking for. So the map I have, there's not,
Tinkerville Brook.
yeah, I don't want to make any silly statements. I don't see an address, like a street address.
So, it's lot one, which is right here, 90,000 square feet. It's a little tricky because
I thought it was lots, parcels 3.25 and 6.
It is.
that's what they're requesting, but the property lines have changed. So we went from 3.2, 5, and 6 to lot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or A.
And other land.
Yeah, this is the parcel A remaining land, 20 acres. So I just think that the purchase and sales is just for lot 1. And it's formally a portion of 3.2.
Right.
This is about to make sense to me.
Looks like this.
This lot is that.
Yes.
Great.
It's a portion. It doesn't look exactly like that. And then this was the 20 acres that is going to be in the conservation restriction.
Right.
So I think that,
We approved the order of conditions for these lots. There was also some verbiage within that approval regarding the other 20 acres of land.
Yes.
yep, the language before the lot is sold.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what that language was.
It was that
It
the-
couldn't be further developed, correct?
No, I
It's a conservation restriction.
think you couldn't use it as calculations for your riverfront area.
Right.
Right, it was the full amount.
But-
Right.
Yes, but the language after that.
He had to put it aside in order, we had to put a restriction on it in order to make that calculation be allowable.
No?
You want more?
So,
Go
what-
get it.
no,
I
so-
thought it was the riverfront area calculations.
It was.
Right, that you-
However, the follow-up to that was the restriction on the remaining acreage.
It was this
I think it's in our meeting minutes.
parcel
too.
here that they use for the riverfront calculations, parcel B, on the other side of the river,
On the other side, yes.
which you could, there is a buildable portion probably over there, and if they ever built over there in the riverfront, that riverfront area, I think, is already used.
Right.
I think
Right.
that's what the restriction was, right?
Yeah, the restriction was on the whole rest of the space, though.
I guess that doesn't.
The language in each deed,
The backland, it doesn't have riverfront, don't, I think the only area.
Right.
So,
But we wrote it such that that was all protected.
Yes.
as it pertains to riverfront area.
okay. So in front of us, we have a request, it's okay. No, I don't think we need it. I don't think it's necessary. We can look back. So I think the request does not meet the requirements.
Yep. I agree.
And I think that we can reference that we would recommend to the Board of Selectmen to not act on its first refusal, the town's first refusal for lot number 1, which is a portion of parcel 3.2.
I'm hesitant to make that recommendation without having a valuation for 5 and 6.
Right, only the parcel 3.2.
Right, but I don't know that I want to say that about parcel 3.2 without knowing what the value of 5 and 6 are.
Well, would you
Because
like to
3.2 is
purchase,
contiguous
okay,
for
would you,
5 and 6.
would you like to purchase Lot 1 as shown on this new plan, which is not updated with the assessor, for 110,000? Do you think, would you recommend that the town purchase it?
No, I wouldn't.
So I think that's clean, as clean as we can make it, so that they can move forward. So the motion would be to recommend to the Board of Selectmen not to exercise the town's right of first refusal for Lot 1, Walnut Street, containing 90,050 square feet.
No, and I agree that that's the recommendation that we will make. I'm still stuck on, can they take this out of the conservation restriction? This is just Lot 1.
This is the tax exemption portion
No, I'm
of
familiar with
61B.
Chapter 61.
So it's totally different than the conservation restriction.
Thank you.
So this is for taxation, so the other part is going to be for our orders of
Conditions.
conditions.
Okay.
So what they had done for that, to satisfy the riverfront area, the max.
Okay.
Anybody else have questions?
Well, I mean, if the Concom's goal is to protect wetlands and protect riverfront area, why would we recommend that they not look into the possibility of purchasing this land? Why would we just go straight out to say, no, we don't recommend?
We've already approved it as a building lot, so in our exercise on riverfront area, we've already vetted the portion to be used for a single-family dwelling. We have an approval.
Right. We've given them an order of conditions to be able to develop a house because it was presented to us.
Yes.
As such, yeah.
So we have to act on that, what they present. We can't tell them at that point, well, we can't build on this land. So
Yep.
I'm saying that this is a key piece of the land that's adjacent to Tinkerbell. Is it Tinkerville?
Yep.
Tinker.
Tinkerbell Brook. That I don't feel comfortable about telling the selectmen, no, we shouldn't look into it. I would rather they would look into it.
So the deed restriction language, Lot 1 as shown on a plan of land recorded, was approved to allow 6,740 square feet of riverfront area alteration, and Lot 2 on the same plan was approved to allow 10,200 square feet of riverfront area alteration. No other riverfront area alteration shall be allowed anywhere else on this 22.17 acres of land other than the amount already approved for lots 1 and 2. So that was our deed restriction.
And then this says here 28.38 acres of land. That doesn't, so where's the 22 acres and 28 acres differ? Or why does it differ?
I'm unsure of that also.
You can have them come in.
Parcel A is 20.3, and then 2468. So 28. So.
I think there's some confusion regarding this information. I'm not willing to move forward with making a recommendation to the selectmen.
Okay. Let me see, this was November 18th. When is the 45 days up? So the time would be up to give a recommendation to the board of selectmen at our next meeting. to the 40, I believe it's 45 days.
If we have our next meeting on the 19th, is that what you mean?
Nope, we're not having a meeting on the 19th, the 9th,
We
January
decided to
9th.
not do that, yeah. So by January 9th, they'll be outside their 45-day window.
Anyone else have an objection on that recommendation?
I do, actually. I
Okay.
would really love to see the valuation of 5 and 6. I think whether, what we're doing with the surrounding area impacts what our recommendation would be on Lot 1.
Okay, well, I'm not in favor of recommending this to be purchased by the town.
Understood.
So we've done a lot of work on this property, so I think we're pretty aware of the value and that the remaining land is,
Well, I mean, if we go forward with our recommendation being split, that's fine, right? We don't have to have a unanimous recommendation.
Right.
That's true. It's not about,
right. So the remaining land, parcel A, is to be deed restricted, that no riverfront alterations are to be allowed. All the riverfront area on this remaining land, parcel A, is to be dedicated for use on lots 3 and 4 for 10% riverfront alterations. Half that area is to be reserved to Lot 3 and half to Lot 4. This will allow Lot 3 and 4 to achieve 10% alterations, each within the riverfront area. Parcel A can no longer be able to claim any alteration for the river. All 10% is dedicated to Lot 3 and 4. Is that what you recall? So that back parcel is not going to be used. Okay,
right?
Not the back parcel behind the lot, I think it's the parcel on the other side of the river.
I thought it was both.
right here, behind the river. No?
No, to the right.
This
right,
way?
That's it. No, just right there,
This?
that's it, yeah. That's the only riverfront.
Okay, well, let's move forward. So what's the pleasure of the board?
I give a vote and then we'll just
Yeah.
tell them what the vote is.
I'm waiting. I placed
Oh,
like, somebody can give me a motion.
I'm not
You
in
didn't-
favor of the recommendation to the selectmen to refuse.
So I think it needs to be in the positive. And then you can vote. The
My vote would
affirmative.
be to recommend to the Board of Selectmen to investigate the potential purchase of the plot 3.2 based on, investigation of the surrounding areas and the value to the town.
Okay, that's not in the affirmative. Is there a second on that motion?
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. All those in favor? You can say yes for yours.
Oh, I can.
You made it in the negative.
No, I said I recommend that the selectmen do the investigation of purchasing the land.
Okay,
Right.
so it's exercise or not exercise the first right of
So
refusal.
it's exercise.
Attorney Winter?
Yeah.
The board is split on this recommendation. Should the vote be to either exercise or not exercise the town's first right of refusal, or can we make an alternate vote of recommending further investigation?
You can do both.
Okay,
There isn't, again, this is
It's a recommendation.
it's not, yeah,
advice provided by the conservation to inform the board of selectmen how it may or may not act going forward. It's not binding on them. It's a recommendation that comes out of this board. So if it's split, or if it comes along with some directives or any comment, that's fine to pass along, and those are what they meant.
okay, all right, thank you. So motion was seconded, all those in favor?
Aye, PG Dudley, aye.
So the motion is to recommend that they purchase.
Investigate further.
Investigate for,
To move
investigate.
towards purchasing though, yeah.
And specifically the values of lots 5 and 6.
Yeah, is the portion that we think should sway their decision.
Eric Karasai.
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Mangumati.
Okay. All right, so Steve, can you prepare that response to the Board of Selectmen? Thank you. Okay, project update, Douglas Water Sewer Department, Stantec, possible votes. I believe this is an update, and there's some rearranging of the pump station equipment. Is anyone here on behalf of this update to the board?
In person.
Madam Chair, this is Michelle Simino from Stantec, and I have with me just reduced the project manager on this project from Stantec. And I understand that Bob Minerak from the Economic Development Department is there live.
Yes, welcome, thank you.
How is our audio?
It's not great, but I can hear you.
Okay, great. I'm just going to give a brief overview of what we're looking to do with the changes, and I have some graphics to present, so that you can kind of see what the changes are.
Screen share?
And give the second item on the agenda for discussion. Basically, what it is, it pertains to an order of conditions that was issued by the Douglas Conservation Commission. For your reference and for your record, the order of conditions CE 143-1041, which is 2 months ago to the Douglas Water and Sewer Department. And this is for the pump station on Dubois Street. And what is happening when we're before you tonight is that the selected contractor is getting underway with the work and is proposing an alternative layout to the pump station that they feel will be an advantage to the town's schedule and budget in a number of ways. A couple things. It helps accelerate the schedule by taking advantage of some equipment that's available, and it also rectifies the line of gravity as well. And we'll go over that in just a minute. I am going to walk you through an overview of the proposed layout, but I just want to tell you about the line that the proposed layout is included in the approved fence layout for the pump station. So there are no additional resource areas that alterations to the riverfront area, is all outside of the floodplain, which has a baseline flood elevation. And so just want to reassure you that. So the way, what I understand from the contractor is the way the layout is now, it would require waiting until all the components of the pump station are available and delivered to the site. And we understand that there's a lead time of approximately 7 to 8 months for some of the components. So with the existing layout, that they would have to wait until everything is delivered to the site. With the proposed layout and configuration, the contractor could take advantage of the portion of the substation, components that are precast and can be actually constructed at the site and have that done more quickly and accelerate the schedule to where it will allow for an early spring 2023, I believe, installation of all of the underground work, and that can be completed prior to the delivery of the pumps and the panels. And after that happens, the pumps and the panels are, once they're delivered to the station, they can be all operational within about 2 weeks. The proposed layout also allows them to take advantage of the constructed paved area, which if you recall, the layout has a little maintenance driveway that you would, so they could take advantage of having that constructed for the remainder of the facility, to construct the remainder of the top facility. Now, if I could share my screen with you, that little overview. It says post, message here, post disabled participant screen sharing. Am I able to share, or should I just be walking through the changes verbally?
You're all set to share now.
I'll share the share. Okay, great.
Yes.
Okay, great. So this is the notice of intent that was approved in the order of conditions, so this is what we have on record. The proposed condition all includes the layout of the pump station. And so we have the generator here, the electrical enclosures and then the vault here. And so what the contractor is proposing to do, is to shift some of the components around and put the bulb here, the electrical enclosure stand here, and the generator here. So it's really just a shifting around of these components. Nothing is closer to the Neanderthal high water line than was proposed before. And as you can see, we've got the spot grades on here, and we just confirm that it's all above the flood elevation. Going that subject to flood elevation. And like I said in the introduction, this proposed layout would just allow them to accelerate the schedule and take advantage of getting the components that are ready and are on available on short notice to the site, get everything constructed underground, and then be prepared when the longer lead items are then available in 7 to 8 months. And I would just ask that Pareshta, if I've said anything that needs clarification, please step in, if you don't mind, or if you have anything to add to that. But that is just an overview of what we're asking to do as kind of just a minor modification of the proposed order of conditions plans.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. This is Pareshta News. Michelle, you covered everything. Again, the reason that contractor want to shift the pump station away from the existing location is that we have the whole pump station running till spring, that they can install the pump station, and then 8 to 7 months later they get the pumps, because the lead time for the pumps are very long. So this way, existing pump station is on service, running, and when they get the pump, they can install it in the pump station and bypass in a couple of days or so. And again, it's just moving the generator closer to the gate and shift the pump station, underground pump station, like 5 to 10 feet away from existing pump station. But everything's within the fence area, all the setbacks, all the requirement that we have from previous order of conditions stays the same.
Thank you very much. Board, do we have any questions?
No.
Okay. Mr. Menard, do you have anything
No,
to add?
I'm just here to support them,
Okay, thank you.
in case you had questions on
Okay.
site.
Thank you very much. I will.
I make a motion that we approve the change to the layout of the pump station.
Motion made by Mark,
Second.
second by Mike. All those in favor?
Katie Dudley, aye.
Eric Arasai.
Zach Rocco, aye.
Mark Mangum,
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so are we going to meet the unanticipated,
Thank you.
there's an unanticipated item. I think I
Okay.
mentioned.
It's a surprise.
Yeah. Well, it's more of an update.
Okay.
It's more of an update.
Name and address, please, for the record.
Bob and Eric, 107 Cedar Street, Economic Development. There's been a movement underway to create or construct the secondary emergency access road to the high school. As you know, there is only one way in, one way out. We plan on using the existing entrance on Davis Street where the highway department now, that gated area where they dump snow. Did you send any drawings to them?
You could pass them around.
I only have one. I'll just show you this drawing. This is the gated area. This is the field where they dump snow. This is a path that goes to the back of the high school. The only area right now that we can improve is this area to give them immediate access. It's 300 feet. It's outside your jurisdiction. This is within your jurisdiction. We will not be touching any of that, but it is passable and plowable right now. So before Christmas, we could possibly get a secondary emergency access to the high school for public safety reasons. So it's basically just an update. Steve and I were discussing this over the weekend. There's more plans within your area, that'll be springtime work, and that we'll be discussing that over the winter through some Concom meetings.
Okay. What is the closest point to our jurisdictional area of your activity?
You're at least 100 feet away from the 100-foot buffer,
Okay. So you are outside, stay outside?
well outside.
You don't need to talk to us.
No.
Yeah, so here's the,
I think we did get a couple emails on this.
so there's an access road, there's a culvert, there's a path already existing. This is a cleared area, and so they're gonna come up through here. So our jurisdiction, anything pretty much within 100 feet ends about here.
Could you put on the layer, please?
Isn't that riverfront?
No,
No.
it's a pond, for sure.
Well, I can put
Oh,
the,
it's riverfront across the street.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put the USGS in so you can see it real quick.
How is this on our meeting tonight?
Unanticipated by the chair.
I just wanted to update the commission, because if they're gonna be working out there, so you
There was a,
know.
yeah.
Bob knows he's gonna have to file with the commission,
For your areas, but outside the area, just an update.
Okay.
and that was it. So I said, well, you might as well, because there's gonna be some activity there. And so the commission knows that they're staying outside.
100 foot from the 100 foot is,
Can you go
A
back to the
nice
aerial
cushion.
photograph? If you don't mind, please. Oh, look at it. So the path that you're talking about is right here?
That's a running path right now.
Right, and then that is the town, the high school's cross-country course?
Yes.
Are there high school cross-country meets?
Yes.
So is that going to be eliminated as part of this
Well,
process?
we're meeting with the school committee Wednesday night to further discuss this. We're kind of ahead of ourselves before you right now, but just to let you know what the process is.
okay, thank you very much.
Okay? Thank you.
And I think we had one more unanticipated. Is there anyone here for 35 Wallace?
I'm sorry, it's Denise Brookhouse and myself, Tony Brookhouse. We own 35 Wallace, and we're looking at jet down the water from piers to a crosswalk. And that's building inspector said she is going to mark you guys. And
Okay, so this is the same location where you had the helical piers that were supposed to be installed. Then the board approved the use of sonotubes.
yes, yes, that's correct. And this would actually be less invasive. There will not be any crossing of the wetlands. Everything will be taken, the concrete for the crosswalk will be taken by dumpster and truck, and it will be delivered there and installed. No trucks will be in the wetlands.
Okay, and why are you requesting the substitution for the material?
From those sonotubes and also those piers to a crosswalk, that's what I.
Yeah, what was the purpose?
The purpose is to build a crosswalk in order to get us the shed.
Okay, so this request is coming from the building inspector for code, or?
Yeah, it's coming from the building inspector, because we felt that it was a better way to do it. And
can ask him, but he can tell me.
Okay, board, do we have any questions on that? This was the one
Oh, I remember the
boathouse.
boathouse, yeah. So I'm just,
with the rocks.
yeah, no, I remember the boathouse, I remember the sonotubes. I'm not sure that I understand what
Bring
the,
up the
Yeah,
plan.
I don't understand, what's the terminology?
what the change is.
But, I mean, I don't know what a frost wall is. What's a frost wall?
Can you describe the activity instead of the piers that we had previously approved? What you're using now?
It's the same process, except instead of them putting the piers in, they're just going to put the cross wall in the square rectangle. It's like 19 feet. That's all it is. So that's what the difference is. So instead of being one hole and putting a pier in, they're digging a rectangle.
Okay, do you have the building plans that you could share with us? Pull them up?
No, but I think maybe Eric does. Hi, my name is Eric Sampson. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, name and address, please, for the record.
My name is Eric Sampson, 49 Green Street in Leicester, not a resident. Thank you, Madam Chair, for allowing us to be on. I don't have the plan in front of me. I'd be happy to try and describe it. The frost wall that Mr. Brookhouse is referring to would just be a standard concrete foundation. Would add a 4-foot depth in order to provide a foundation for the shed that we'd like to build. The piers that were currently approved, the sonotubes are approved, because of their rocky base, the piers are going to be really difficult to install and level, whereas a foundation could be pinned to any large boulders. So in the end, it would be a much more uniform, consistent building surface.
Okay, thank you.
We approved the sonotube because it was minimal impact. We now allow a 4-foot deep trench with a
For a
foundation.
foundation.
That's way different than
That's-
what we approved, and I think goes beyond what we approved for that.
My impression is that it's more impactful, and my basis for that is that if I recall correctly, the shed encroached on the resource area,
Right.
and it was such that the sonotube supporting the shed was going to be outside the resource area, even if the edge of the shed extended into the resource area. So now if the shed has a full foundation, that means we're excavating into the resource area, which we were not doing with the sonotube construction. So that is why I feel that this is more impactful.
Right, but I'd like to see the plan again to
Right.
confirm that. I think
If it's not more impactful, I would want to see a plan that shows that.
Steve, do you have the plan,
I don't have the, well.
the file? The plan online? No.
Not the proposed one.
Right. But you have the existing one.
Well, I'm not hooked up to
Oh.
network.
Oh,
No, I understand.
The plans, as one of the foundation, has the foundation plan on it.
Okay. We'll let you share, yeah.
I didn't know they were coming in today.
Oh, okay.
With regard to the depth, either footing method would have to be 4 feet deep to be below the frost line. So this won't be any more
Deeper.
with regard to the depth.
No, I didn't.
Oh, I understand
The
that.
footing
Want me to grab the existing plan?
I would take the existing plan.
required for the shed will actually have a smaller footing base, smaller width than the piers that are being installed.
Right.
could we zoom in on the proposed and if you had the previous pier? So that was the pier one, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's correct. It's pier one.
So can you speak to any additional disturbance that you will have to do in installing the frost wall versus the piers?
So this arrangement is
It's all inside of the boundary. And the problem with installing this many piers is that it's going to be very difficult to get all of them aligned and level. It's going to require a lot of equipment traffic as those are set by an excavator. The frost wall, while it will require slightly more excavation, it'll allow a cleaner line of excavation and a simpler footprint again.
Do you have the over, yeah, what?
The material that will be excavated will be moved on-site immediately. We won't be creating any piles of dirt anywhere inside the boundary until there'll be a bucket excavated to a remote part of the site that's nowhere near the waterway. And in the end, this should allow us, with a reduced vehicle traffic, to install a frost wall foundation, or hopefully we can get the site restored much more quickly.
What's the time to construct from start to finish, to install?
With a frost wall, you should be able to do the excavation in about a half a day. The concrete work should take a few hours at the most. To be backfilled and restored.
Boathouses, yeah, there we go.
And the sizes.
This is the thing, whatever.
Okay.
It's this little building. And you can see that. So what I'm seeing is the previous, oh, there we go. That's much easier. Okay, the plan we have doesn't have the exact same footprint because I think we made some modifications, but this is the approved plan?
And then, what are the dimensions of the proposed that you have a building permit application in for?
That's not the same shape.
Okay.
Right here, yeah.
Actually, about 24 by 17. This footprint is slightly smaller. It still has the jog in one corner, so it fits well within those narrow boundaries.
So
Okay,
it's smaller than approved?
It is slightly smaller, yes. It's been staked out at this point and it fits within all the boundaries.
I'm going to do this, and I'm going to go look at the TV screen and see what those dimensions are. I'm just walking up to your TV screen so that I can read it. So the jog is 4 foot 4 inches by 4 foot.
Correct.
Okay.
Do you have a plan that shows this layout in relation to the wetland?
Yeah, the building plans, the plot plan that was submitted.
No, Allen Engineering is working on that.
Okay, board, what do you think? So the method from the piers to the sonotubes, was it sonotubes or big feet that we had originally modified?
Yeah, this is the current approved foundation, it's a precast concrete pier with a large base, so like a precast big one.
Okay. And then they're requesting to do you're doing a single pour, 4-foot foundation, pretty much frost wall foundation only.
is 4 feet down into the water table?
I don't believe so, but either way, this foundation system or a frost wall would have to have been more depth to meet the building code minimum requirement.
Yes, but it's a lot more excavation to run a trench 21 feet or 24 feet or whatever it is by 17 feet than it is to just dig the hole.
If there's any consolation, we've done years before you guys extended them, hopefully we can do this. But we did all the conservation measures, now we've redone them again, and they were redone this week. All new walls, all new everything else, so Stephen can go out there and check it out, and the place is pristine.
Okay, back to the previous question though, for Eric. What Mark had asked was the, disturbance between the piers that were approved and this method. Or are you saying that the only way that you could possibly get a building is by doing this frost wall? As,
You're correct, that the excavation, there will theoretically be more excavation on the frost wall, but what we found in digging a couple of test holes in order to explore and make sure the piers would be an alternative, is that because there are so many large rocks below the subgrade, that every time we would dig what we thought was a small hole, hit a large rock, it would end up disturbing a much larger area than we intended. So the concern is that at the end of digging 16 holes and hitting who knows how many rocks, we'll be making a pretty big, it's going to be a disturbance. And that's why in the end, we're going to be able to restore the site more quickly and minimize the disruption by changing this method.
and pinning to the rocks versus removing.
The rocks, exactly.
So I think that's
That's how
pretty
it's
much
less
the point.
impactful.
Yes,
Yes.
that's pretty much the point of this, because
Nope,
there's
it's
so
fine.
many boulders, and they can have an alternate way.
The boulders, then they'll be
to deal
doing
with
more
it.
work. No, I read how it's less impactful. I have some concerns with the dimensioning, and I'm just, can you turn it to the one that shows the shed?
The square footage you want?
The jog has shrunk. This is smaller. This
5
dimension
foot.
is less. The jog is, because it used to be, the two sections I'm reading on the bottom are 510 and 510. 510 plus 510 is greater than 11, and on the approved plan, that dimension is 11 feet.
Overall depth of the
I'm talking about the dimensions of the shed,
And if you can just pull up the footprint of the building, if you have the foundation plan, you must have the building plan. If we can zoom to that page.
I don't know if Denise has that or not. The length of the plan on the approved plan is 24 feet, and this is only 23. So we've actually
it's
reduced it.
21 plus, okay.
That's what's allowing the jog to be a different dimension and still fit clearly.
Okay. I didn't know how, okay, so this has been pulled in.
Okay, board. It's your pleasure.
It probably fits.
So, we can caveat it by no larger or no closer than what was previously.
It's no closer is the issue, is
Yeah.
I was worried with that dimension changing, because I'm not doing the trigonometry in my head, that we're not encroaching.
So I guess the motion would be to allow the substitution from the big feet precast piers to
To the frost wall.
frost wall.
I'm okay with that as a minor plane change.
Okay, motion made by Katie Grace,
Second.
second by Mike. All those in favor?
KG Dudley, aye.
Eric Harris, aye.
Mike Rocco, aye.
Art Lundrum, no.
Okay. We have a quorum. I'll say Tracy Sharkey, aye.
Okay.
With the condition that it's no closer than what was previously approved and that the work shall be completed within 2 days of commencement, and that Steve is to inspect before any activity commences.
Understood, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, new business. We didn't open this yet, right?
No.
All right, Town of Douglas Conservation Commission, 29 Depot Street, pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, Mass Wetlands Protection Act, the Town of Douglas Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on December 5th at 7 PM for a notice of intent filed by Barbara Van Esseldumpf, located at 83 Island Road, for work to be done pursuant to the Town of Douglas Wetland Bylaw and the Wetland Protection Act, Mass General Law 131, Section 40. The proposed work involves constructing a single-family dwelling with private septic and well with driveway within 100-foot buffer. Public participation will be available by attending the meeting at the Town of Douglas Municipal Center located at 29 Depot Street, Douglas, Mass. Or pursuant to Governor Baker's June 16th, 2021 order suspending certain provisions of open meeting law, General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 18. The public may participate in this meeting via remote participation. A website for the meeting will be provided on the conservation agenda posted on the town's website at least 48 hours prior to the meeting. Copies of the application may be examined electronically by contacting the Conservation Commission, 508-476-4000, extension 205. Who is here on behalf of this application, 83 Island Road? Is presenting. Hello, name and address? Are you here for 83 Island?
Yes, I am. Jason Clark with Creative Engineering. We have an address of 4 Mendon Street, Uxbridge.
Okay, so we're just gonna briefly review the project. You have some DEP comments, and I would think that you're gonna be addressing those on a revised plan?
Yes.
Okay, did you wanna do an overall? Thank you.
Yes, would you like me to share
Yes, please.
plan?
Yes.
Just, so you know, DEP had some significant comments to
Yeah.
incorporate in my comments.
Okay, thank you very much. Yep, the applicant said that they would be addressing those in a revised plan. So I just said a brief overview of the project would be great. Go for it.
Sure. So we did modify the plan, based on the comments from the region. There were some additional comments from DEP. So I guess this is as a brief overview. We have property located off of Island Road. Ultimately, it has access off of Wallace Street. We have Island Road, currently entering across a number of properties. Pretty much just a small bit of access to property on the point located here. There's another existing property, actually two properties located on this existing property. There's an existing cottage located on the property. Again, accessory structure sheds that are looking at the property. There's a driveway which extends down to the water's edge. boat ramp that accesses the pond, the existing dock within our property. There is a septic system located on the western side of the existing cottage. The existing septic tank is located here. There is no well located on the property. Utilizing a pump. There's a pump equipment located roughly in this location, which is used to obtain some water for non-potable uses. And as far as for drinking water, to bring that on. We have basically the eastern and southern end of the property run along the reservoir's edge. Under proposed conditions, we are proposing to raise the existing cottage and one of the existing sheds. Septic system will be programmed. We have a proposed leach field and septic tank located in the front yard area of the house, adjacent to Island Road. This has been reviewed, received approval from the Board of Health. We had basically a leach field in the reserve area located this area here. And we had a proposed driveway located in the vicinity of the existing driveway, which is proposed to be gravel. We had a proposed well located here to meet the setback requirements to the septic system and also considering the adjacent septic system along the north. And then we have the proposed structure which is located here, proposed patio / terrace. This is the rear. And then the additional comments that came in from DEP were related to some work that was proposed as prepared to the existing boat ramp and there's basically some existing stone wall along the edge here. So this is just intended to be some minor repairs and not to extend into the water. Just replacing some of the concrete surface with the boat ramp. Basically, we just discuss this tonight. Figure out how to move forward from there. Other than that, I also have the owner here tonight on the call. She can speak to some additional kind of background history of the project.
Okay, thank you very much. Steve.
Video?
Yes, please.
Stop. If you can stop sharing, that'd be great.
Hi, I'm glad to be able to talk to you all tonight. It's very exciting for us. Barbara Van Essendel, 83 Island Road. I'm coming to you from Florida tonight.
Nice place to be. We're gonna play a video of the property first, and then I'll open it up to the board for any questions that they have for you.
Oh, is that floodplain? Oh,
Well, let me share.
okay.
There you go. All right. Has anyone been out to Island Road? No,
Never.
No.
No.
it's kind of in the middle of the res. Do you know where it is? You want me to show you?
I know where it is. I have seen
If
it.
you're at the water slides, you'd be looking straight at the tip.
Okay.
Jittering.
So is that building that's there, that
Cottage?
is the cottage that's described?
Right here, yeah.
Okay.
So
To be removed.
yeah,
Yeah, no, I see that on the plan. I'm just getting my bearings to the video.
and the closest point is 53 feet right now. And proposed is 45 with the duck.
More trees.
Than what's depicted on here.
I believe so. Because there, so this is. Mhm.
This is I'm at one of the corners right now of the house.
Okay. Hmm.
So I think that's it.
Okay. Does the existing cottage have a crawl space or a basement? No? Okay.
No, no, it's, was built by my cousin when he returned from World War II. He and a couple buddies just built it from salvaged other buildings.
Nice.
So, it's gotten a lot of use for the amount of resources that were put into it. I've been there my entire life. As long as anyone in our family can remember, the land has been in the family. Adjacent to other family land, the churches are adjacent to us. And my ancestors were Wallace and Wallace Road, so
Oh,
I've
excellent.
been there a long time.
Great.
So this is just in case this is
So a couple questions for the applicant, the engineer. You've revised the plan with Steve's comments, so you've grabbed the 18-foot wide driveway, the well's proposed with a PR, and the slurry pit is shown, and the foundation drains I see on the plan also. Is that foundation drain to the north? Where is that discharging to?
That is discharging to south side. I had a line coming out of there, foundation drain, some type of discharge.
Yeah, the one in the driveway?
The one in the driveway is the well service.
Underneath that line, or to the left of that line? Okay.
Kind of in the vicinity where the bulkhead is, along there.
Okay, to daylight?
To daylight, but it would have to be at some point.
Okay. All right, yeah, there's a line in the, so the gravel driveway is going to remain gravel?
Yes.
Okay. And the trees, so the portion along the water, you've got a tree line shown. We're not taking anything out of that tree line?
We're gonna have to, do some additional location. I did the best we could, based on, some aerial photogrammetry and site photos and everything. The tree line is really, it's done from an aerial, and includes some brush and smaller pieces. Now located in the actual bases. So we located to what we could, but we need to do some additional location. And get you a revised plan.
Right, so the proposed to be removed, and maybe we get a count or the specific ones on here. I'm not really seeing, I see the number 24 inches, I see 12 inches, I'm not really sure, 14 inches, they're not really close to the trees. I think those are the calipers.
Yeah, that's the approximate calipers, but we'll get it.
Okay, okay, yeah, if we could get a clear understanding and mark those trees in the field to be removed or requesting to be removed.
What's the minimum size?
6, 12,
6
6,
inches.
6. And is there any opportunity to move the home back a little bit?
I've had some thoughts on it. I can review with architects, owners. We are, with the southern portion of the building, we are pretty much right up against the setback line.
Okay.
There are other portions of the building that actually would offer some building adjustment, but I would have to review that with the architect to see if it's possible.
Okay, so I think that providing an explanation on that encroachment, as well as, you know, the terrace, would be useful for the revised submittal. So I think you're only, the building is only 2.5 feet encroaching, and then the terrace is about 8 feet. The closest point.
Yeah, the closest point is about 8 feet, and the house is just the one corner, maybe 2.5 feet.
Okay, so just an explanation. I see where now, where the plan, it has a lot of information on it, so I see where the building setback line is at the moment now.
Yeah, and you know, we were trying to utilize the space for the existing cottages, and obviously it's a small structure. We're trying to not have it be any closer than the existing structure. But obviously, this is a bigger structure for the reasons of continued use by the owner, which they at this point. So yeah, we did elaborate on that.
Okay, so that brings up a good point. So when I'm looking at this plan, I can't really see that staircase with the deck. So your proposal is no closer than what is existing for the deck portion. Is that correct, or
Yes.
can that be correct?
So the deck at its closest point was 37 feet away. And then the corner of the stairs coming off the deck are about
41.
a little bit more, maybe 38, 39 feet. But the closest corner of the deck to the edge was 37, approximately 37 feet.
Okay, I'm seeing a number of 41.7 feet, so I would just want to verify.
Yeah, that's to the, but we can add some additional dimensions to the existing.
Yeah, because you just said it was 38, right? So yes, if I could see a dimension for existing closest for the deck portion,
Yes.
that would be. And then you've got to clarify that activity of repair, maintenance of existing stone wall along edge of water. I don't know if you have a
So
sequence.
refer back to the, just watch the video. It's very helpful kind of with an overview of the site. Does a better job than just the static photos. But you can see one of the areas, you can see the was just some concrete blocks, or pads. And there was a few of them that I had not was the other. So I think the idea was just to reset those or replace those outside the edge of the water. At this time of year, the water's edge is further back than what it is during the summer. So you can see the blocks there. And the idea was just to punch that out, minor repairs to that area. And then likewise with the stone wall, you can see some dry stacked stones along the edge. So the idea was just to be able to reset some stones there along the edge. It wasn't to be kind of a major undertaking. So we had thought to include it with this work. If it is of a bigger concern and require kind of a level of detail that seemed to be indicated by DEP, we may entertain just pulling it out in this application. So we wanted to get your thoughts this evening and see what we can go on. But it wasn't intended to be anything that was going to really change what is there now. It was just to replace some of the broken pads and or reset some items there to just maintain it.
Yeah, I think the description is lacking the details that are needed for the approval. I don't know what you had originally put in your NOI for your activity.
You know, it threw me off, the DEP comments, because I don't think he has it in his NOI description.
Okay, so that's a little odd. Good pickup by DEP.
Yeah, I didn't see the fine print on the plan is busy, so I...
It's very busy.
So I looked at the...
There's a lot to take in.
I might have read it wrong, but I went back to the description, and I didn't really see it in the description of the NOI.
Okay. So if they did not apply to do the activity and it's within our jurisdiction, it's got to be excluded. We can't just add in something, I don't believe, as the formal process. It doesn't say an associated work, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know what the description of the NOI says.
I have to look at it.
Okay, so that's something that I'm sure you could work through if you actually did include it as an activity on your NOI sheet, because DEP is also calling out the category 5 at $4 a linear foot. So that's, the fees are also different. And then anything that you revise, you'll have to send back to DEP to get a response and/or satisfaction from DEP that their concerns were addressed. Okay, board. Any other questions?
I think you addressed the trees. I think the only other thing that I would question is if whether or not those trees provide any shade, because we don't have a good indication, because you've got a tree line, if you will, but a lot of that might be low shrub type materials. Based on the video, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of trees between the building and the shoreline. And I'm just wondering if we can recover any of the shade that we're removing by removing those larger trees. So I don't know that I would recommend planting because I don't want to disturb this area here, but if there's younger trees that might grow larger, I mean, that's something that we should encourage.
Yeah, I don't think.
You don't
to the
think that they're
resource
getting any
area.
shading?
No. If that's staying within here. But
Okay.
that's something, yeah, if we could get that question answered for the next meeting.
Yeah, so it just address any loss of shading or not by the tree removal. Yep.
And then just to note, in my comments, it's in the middle of it, there was a letter from the butter.
I saw that.
Aldridge.
One page back, yep. So that was in the positive, so
Okay.
it
Right.
was nice of them to write in.
We do have a letter of no objection from the neighbor at 82 Island Road.
Just for the record.
Okay, thank you. As long as the commission is comfortable with the plan, we have no objection to make it being carried out as is, so long as the work does not damage our property, which should be achievable, given the setbacks incorporated in the design. Ralph and Nancy Aldridge trustees. Okay, thank you. Mark, anything? Mike, anything? Mike, any comments or questions? Mark?
I go along with your comments, Tracy, in regard to the building and terrace, and if any of it could be pulled back away from the water a little bit more. I mean, I understand that it may be 3 feet further away, but it's only a corner, and how the extent of the terrace that's inside the 50-foot is quite a bit more than what was previously there, so.
The volume,
The volume,
essentially,
right,
the square
exactly.
footage, actually.
And then also, to me, I'm just looking at the limit of work where the erosion control area is and how far away from the terrace it is and how close to the water it is. Whether that could be pulled back away from the water at all. And then thirdly, just the driveway extension towards the water. If that could be shorter and further away, or the driveway layout adjusted maybe a little bit to eliminate that extension towards the water.
Yeah, the erosion control line should be tighter, so we're not really sure why that's so far away. That's a good catch. Okay, this is a public hearing. Anyone in the audience have any questions or concerns, comments regarding this hearing? 83 Island Road. Anyone on Zoom? 83 Island Road? Seeing none. So,
Yeah,
yes?
let me just confirm that's January 9th.
Okay.
What, the next con call?
Yes.
It is.
Okay.
Put on my calendar at least. It is.
It is.
Great. I'll entertain a motion to continue the public hearing for 83 Island Road to January 9th at 7 PM.
So moved.
Motion made by Katie Grace,
Second.
second by Mike. All those in favor?
Katie Dudley, aye?
Eric Harris, aye.
Brooke, aye.
Mark Monder, aye.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Please get Steve the revised plan as quickly as possible.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Board, do we want to do a site walk on that?
Yeah.
Is it vacant right now? Can we go at our leisure to the location?
Yes, it is.
Okay, all right, so we may, board, you can,
Before it snows.
right, exactly, yeah, forgot about that. Thank you so much. Okay, so board, you can,
Does everyone know how to get there?
yeah, GPS.
So, off of Wallace.
Okay, yep. 7 PM, amended NOI, notice of intent, minor plan change, 170 West Street, Douglas Renewable Solar, Jeffrey Murphy. Town of Douglas Conservation Commission, 29 Depot Street, pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, the Town of Douglas Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on December 5th, 2022, at 7 PM for request for amended order of conditions filed by Douglas Renewables located at 170 West Street for work to be done pursuant to the Town of Douglas Wetland Bylaw in the Wetland Protection Act, Mass General Law 131, Section 40. The proposed work involves additional work within bordering vegetated wetlands and 100-foot buffer zone thereto to support the point of utility interconnection for the constructed solar energy project. Public participation will be available by attending the meeting at the Town of Douglas Municipal Center located at 29 Depot Street or pursuant to Governor Baker's June 16th, 2021 order suspending certain provisions of open meeting law, General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 18. The public may participate in this meeting via remote participation. Website for the meeting will be provided on the conservation agenda posted on the town's website at least 48 hours prior to the meeting. Copies of the request for amended order of conditions may be examined electronically by contacting the Conservation Commission, 508-476-4000, extension 205. 11/28/22. Not 7 days?
Yes.
Come on up. So to double check that.
Want to use the,
Good evening. You can give them to my assistant, Steve.
Has
He gets
Steve
the
been
easel.
demoted?
He's got the easels. He's, yeah, no, I said assistant. My
She referred to you as
assistant.
her assistant.
He's everything.
Good evening, members of the commission. My name is Jeff Murphy. I'm a civil engineer with Beals and Thomas, 144 Turnpike Road, Southborough, Mass. Here on behalf of the applicant Douglas Renewables, LLC. We had come before the commission at last month's meeting. We had submitted a RDA for some additional tree clearing work associated with the utility interconnection for the solar array, which is now constructed. And the last remaining piece of the work is to install the utility interconnection, which consists of a series of utility poles, which National Grid has already installed at the location that they determined the poles to go. And the situation is that some of the existing trees along the edge of the originally approved limit of work, which is shown here in the dark dashed line, overhang the corridor where the wires need to go. So in order to provide the appropriate clearance, which is 10 feet off of the utility wires and poles, which is represented by this red dashed line, there were some additional trees that were right along the edge of the previously approved limit of work line that would need to be removed in order to be able to install the utility poles and wires to connect the solar array into the electrical grid along West Street. So we had discussed at the last meeting that there would be approximately 9 trees that they would need to be taken down. Some of them happen to fall just outside the approved limit of work line within the BVW. They're generally smaller trees, 4 to 6 inches in diameter, and 2 larger white pines in the upland area, just outside the current limit of work. And one of the things we had discussed at the last meeting was providing some additional mitigation plantings along the edge of the area that we need to clear the larger trees to help restore some of the shading or shade benefit to the forest floor. And we proposed 10 high bush blueberry plants along that kind of corridor, as they would provide that shade yet not grow so tall as to conflict with the wires along the utility poles here. And Steve has some photos that we had.
I think these are yours from the already.
Oh, so these are some photos that we had taken when we submitted the RDA. The first one is a photograph taken from this utility pole. There's 60-5, which is about 200 feet into the site. So that first photo is looking back out towards West Street, so to the north. So you can see behind the utility pole, which has that guy wire attached to it, there's 2 large white pines that are kind of right on the path of where the wires would go. And you can see in the background, there's that utility pole 60-3, which kind of falls right in the middle between those other ones. And then that's a photo of the 60-3, I believe. And then I think Steve, yes, this is a picture of the pole closest to the street, which is 60-1. And there's some smaller 4 to 6 inch diameter trees that would need to be removed in order to accommodate the wires. So we're looking to amend our existing order of conditions permit that we have on file.
Okay, great, thank you very much. Board, any questions?
Do you know what the area of additional work is?
So yeah, I don't have the specific area number. I just want to also clarify that we're not planning on stumping any of the trees. We'd only be cutting them. So, and again, we anticipate that most of the work could be done from the driveway. So we don't plan to actually need to do any real ground disturbance in there, other than just cutting the vegetation down. So we're trying to certainly minimize any these trees along the actual BVW are small enough that it shouldn't really require any sort of reason to go beyond where the current limit of work line is. I would imagine for the larger white pines, they would need to park a crane or some other large piece of equipment to dismantle those trees.
So you said there's no stumping of the trees that are going to get cut, so those are going to probably re-sprout. And then you have the high-bush blueberries that are going to be there. Will there need to be maintenance of those trees that sprout as to cut them off?
I would
keep them from getting too tall?
I would imagine somewhere down the line, maybe for it to grow up to a height where it would, I guess, be a potential issue, but I would think it would take a little bit of time to grow back.
And we probably do just the regular maintenance you probably do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that. I just don't want them to go in and, because trees will sprout. I mean, they'll grow 6 feet a year when they're coming off of a stump. So they come up pretty quick. But I wouldn't want them to be flush cut. So then you flush cut all the blueberries that you just planted and all that. So I just would want to be sure that when they do come in to trim it, that it's a high cut.
Yeah, and the instructions for the replication area have details of that too.
Do they?
So, yeah, so as far as maintenance of that replication area, I don't have the original approval, but I think it's ongoing maintenance and maintaining of that area.
Yeah, I mean, there would be, I think, Nexamp, who's the solar company that operates the facility, would do seasonal maintenance for the facility. So I would imagine that would include any sort of vegetation, management to make sure that everything is functioning appropriately and that the things aren't, branches aren't getting too high.
Did one of the poles get moved into the wetland, and is that included in your change?
So yes, so when we, it is included, so we had survey located where National Grid initially put the poles back in August, and they subsequently moved the 60-3 pole like 6 to 7 feet further into, and my only guess of why they did that was to try to create like a straighter line. They usually like to have the poles in like a straight line. So I think that may have been the reason why they did that. But we have that shown, the original location and the approximate revised location shown on the plan.
I'm fine with this.
Okay. This is a public hearing. Anyone in the audience have any questions or comments regarding this application?
Yes.
Yes. Name and address, please.
Glenn Kowalski, 601 Main Street, North Oxford. Is there additional wetland alteration under this request to amend?
Applicant?
So
Just a simple question.
Within the replication, the approved replication area.
well, we're just trimming the vegetation.
So
We're not altering the ground at all.
you're altering wetland vegetation under an amendment, that's all I'm asking.
Correct.
Thank you.
Do you have a smaller plan that I could take a look at? And the application?
Do you have any copies?
So, a version of the plan.
Yeah.
Here, I have a full copy of the,
I won't.
sure. Plan.
And then the application?
They want the application?
Yeah. Because you guys had an RDA and you did a positive last meeting, right? When I was in here. So in your amended NOI, I guess you would say, are you increasing the disturbance within that, your previously bank, boarding, BBW, and then land under water bodies? So you have 30, 6,900, and 100? Where is that application?
The prior
Yeah.
application?
Nope, not the prior one. I've got the order. Where's your amended NOI application?
Well,
So as far as the approved order
Yeah,
for disturbance, proposed alteration, proposed
Yeah.
replacement, is there an increase, decrease? Did you apply?
so we're not, we're not actually disturbing the ground, so I guess
You're
is that-
affecting the shade. So when they amend this, there's just simply a letter?
No, it should be a notice of intent.
Okay, I don't have that. You have the application.
That's not what the Douglas Conservation website indicates. It said to submit the letter describing what your request for the amendment is, and we have submitted that information. We've completed the process of notifying the abutters and placing the legal ad, and we,
So is there a net increase from the original approved BVW disturbance?
I guess, what is being considered that?
The shade removal, the 9 trees.
Yeah, right, we talked about when I talked to you on the phone last week, the RDA was, the commission wanted more documentation, so they wanted a formal filing, so they could have the record, and then under the BEP policy of amended order of conditions, you come in and if it's a minor plan change, then you have to ask, and you have to file an amended plan, which should be a notice of intent with application that you put amended on top of it. So it's like a regular
Yeah.
order of condition.
Right.
It's like a regular notice of intent, but it's just amended.
So we received that.
Well, we received the letter, the plan. I thought we received in your email. I got it through email, so.
Okay.
It's, yeah, we're requesting a minor change to that existing permit, is my understanding, is how this was working.
Okay.
For a minor plan change, you have to file, everything, you have to update.
So this is minor
So you have to, it's a,
because
let me get the.
there's no net, no, that's okay.
No, but
There's-
for having a minor plan change, you have to have an amended notice of intent, which is, you amend you're right. The application, you should have submitted a Form 3 for your amendment.
What was your understanding from the last meeting, from the RDA meeting?
What they came in last time
Yep.
was,
No request for applicability, and we
yeah.
We realized that they still had an open order.
We already have a permit, so why would it be that we want to, it's a plan change. It's
Yep.
Okay.
an RDA, it's a plan change, so that's why we said we need to come back before us with a request for a plan change.
Okay.
Yep.
Right.
Okay. All right. Where do you all start?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the request for a plan change to 170 West Street, Douglas Renewable Solar, to remove 9 additional trees and replace those 9 trees with 10 planted high bush blueberry plants.
Seconded.
Motion made, seconded, as well as following the maintenance.
Plan for the restoration area.
Yes. Motion made and seconded?
KG Dudley, aye.
Eric Harris, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Mangum, aye.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, next item, RDA, request for determination of applicability, 209 Southwest Main Street, tree removal. Town of Douglas Conservation Commission will hold a public meeting for Mary Beth Mellon on November 7th, 2022 at 7 PM in the Municipal Center, 29 Depot Street, for work to be done pursuant to the Town of Douglas Wetland Bylaw and the Wetland Protection Act, Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40. The proposed request for determination of applicability work location is 209 Southwest Main Street, and the applicant is requesting permission to remove 2 dead hazardous trees. Public participation will be available by attending the meeting at the Town of Douglas Municipal Center located at 29 Depot Street, Douglas, Mass, or pursuant to Governor Baker's June 16th, 2021 order suspending certain provisions of open meeting law, general law, Chapter 30A, Section 18. The public may participate in this meeting via remote participation. A website for the meeting will be provided on the conservation agenda, posted on the town's website at least 48 hours prior to the meeting. Copies of the RDA may be examined electronically by contacting the Conservation Commission at 508-476-4000, extension 205. Just to briefly go back, I'll entertain a motion to close that public hearing for
So
170
moved.
West Street. Motion made by Katie Grace,
Second.
second by Mike. All those in favor?
KG Dudley, aye.
Eric Harris, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Mangum, aye.
Okay, thank you. Is anyone here on behalf of the 209? Come on up, name and address, please.
Yes, Mary Beth Mello, 104 Southwest Main Street.
Hello.
I need to recuse myself from this because I am in a butter.
Okay.
I believe I'm in a butter. I think so.
I believe
You are.
I am, okay. Yeah.
Yes. So you have 2 dead trees?
Yes.
Okay. And Steve has a photo?
So this is 209, I think it's the, you can see, jittery. The 2 trees are this one here, right?
Yes, correct.
And then this one here.
Yes.
Shot of the 2 right there.
Anybody? Any question?
Nope.
Question?
So stumps to remain, or?
You good with that? Stumps to remain?
That's fine.
I'll entertain a motion.
So moved. I will make a motion to issue a negative RDA with the condition that the stumps will remain in place after the trees are removed.
Motion made,
Second.
seconded. All those in favor?
KG Dudley, aye.
Eric Harris, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Tracy Sharkey, aye. Good luck.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you. The old business, 7 PM public hearing, continued notice of intent, Lot 2R, Birch Street. Is anyone here on behalf of this project? Okay. So I understand the plans, the revised plans were submitted on Saturday. There were some concerns on the site walk.
Yes, my name is Bob Murphy. I'm representing Judy Barron on this first lot, Lot 2R. And just to update you, we had a site walk, and there were several questions brought up at the site walk relative to additional information and revised plans to show a revision, a change to the erosion controls. So what we did was to add straw bales to the lower line, so with silt fence. We added a detail and more information relative to how the straw bales would be installed. What this does is we're using straw wattles over most of the site, but on the lower line, the line adjacent to the 25-foot no disturb area, that would be entirely staked straw wattles, staked straw bales, those silt fence, and that would provide much more protection for the wetland area. I realized that we had submitted the information relatively late. It was just it was a tremendous amount of work that we had to do to upgrade the plans. So my position tonight is to basically provide you with an explanation of the revisions that have been made, and to also answer a few questions that were made in the previous public hearing. One of the questions that was asked...
Sorry, could I interrupt you?
Yeah.
So for 2R, now the revision date is after the site walk?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And what I have is several copies of the plans that you can look at. I also had submitted a PDF of the...
Saturday?
Yeah, Saturday. So I didn't know if you had a chance to bring that up or not, but...
Saturday, 4 o'clock on Saturday?
No, well, it was today.
We keep reminding people for a timeline. I'm going to have to enforce that.
No, see, in all honesty, the DEP, I didn't have a DEP file number at the last meeting. So the comments from the DEP came in to me a little bit late, so...
Today?
No, they came in prior to us change the plan, but they also wanted additional erosion controls.
Okay.
And more information on the sequence. So what I have for additional information is, there was a question about the type of walls that we're going to build, the stone walls. So I provided pictures, which I can give to both sides. And they're basically boulder walls that are, well, they're built on a similar fashion as the pyramids in Giza. They'll last 1,000 years if no one knocks them down. They're made of 2,000, 2,500 pound stones. So that sort of answers that question there. Another question that came up was the type of base material we were going to use in the driveway. So I had the project reviewed by a registered professional engineer who is certified for highway design. And so I have additional information that I provided showing the ASTM standard for crushed stone. The best explanation I can give you is that gravel on a driveway, gravel by definition is usually rounded stones, and they don't sit well. So what we're providing is what we call crushed stone, which is crushed, it has very sharp edges. It packs in tightly and it doesn't roll. And this particular standard is used for Massachusetts airports, at Logan Airport and Department of Transportation highways. It's a specific sizing, ASTM 136, for highways and airports. So I'll give you that information as well.
Is that on the plan? Noted on the plan?
That's on the plan. There's a detail, an added detail for the roadway design, specifically stating that this particular ASTM 136 crushed stone, it's a crushed granite, very hard, very stable.
Okay.
During the site walk, the question came up as to providing additional information relative to the timetable of the project. So what I have is an additional plan. I put together a complete additional plan, essentially an entire sheet of timetable specifications. Essentially, on the, basically the first note states that there is to be no work done during periods of frozen ground conditions, high groundwater conditions, and/or after periods of heavy rainfall. Reason being, there's a fairly high clay content in the soil here. It's a Paxton fine sandy loam. And when it's wet, it can be slippery and it can be hard to work with. And because of the slopes, we put this note specifically that the timetable will be determined by the weather. And there will be no work done at the site until there's a meeting with the members of the commission, possibly the DPW, because we'll be doing some utility work, near the road in the right-of-way. And this is all covered in the notes, but it's a very specific sequence of construction specific to this site. And it makes a reference to the order of conditions. The plan is to be recorded with the order of conditions.
Okay.
It is also to run with the deed. There is a considerable amount of information relative to the maintenance of the best management practices we have here. There's infiltration, drainage, what we call trench draining, water quality swales, septic systems, and filter strips along the driveway. These are all best management practices, and the intent is to have this run with the deed so that other owners could be aware of the operation and maintenance of it. As I believe I may have stated but earlier, I don't anticipate that you will close the hearing tonight. I'm here basically to explain the revisions that we did make, and that would give yourself and Steve a chance to, because it's fairly in-depth. There's a fair amount of information that I'm putting out here.
Okay.
We added, during the last public hearing, it came up that they would like to have drainage for the building. So we've added a fairly substantial Cultec chamber infiltration system in an area where there's going to be approximately 6 feet of gravel fill. So it'll be a clean gravel fill, along with the 2-inch stone. So we anticipate the Cultec system will work quite well for this size building.
So you also have a foundation drain?
The foundation drain is for groundwater, and that is separate from the Cultec system is for rooftop drainage. So what you get infiltration, an increase in the recharge from the entire rooftop area. That also helps to reduce erosion along the slopes. The foundation drain is groundwater, that's separate, and that's basically transferred away from the foundation to a lower area. That really doesn't require recharge because it's really groundwater. Another point that was added was there's a turnaround. We're actually working on 2 lots here, but this is 2R, the first one. We provided a turnaround for the car right near the garage. And one of the pictures that I had given you is actually a picture of a turnaround, a stone wall that I chose. One of the sites I had designed 2 years ago in Leicester, because it was a very similar site with steep slopes, adjacent ground wetlands was at the very base of the slope, and so we had a lot of boulders and rocks. So it's the same, similar design. So the pictures are very. What you're looking at of these pictures is pretty much what the site's going to look like.
Okay.
The boulder wall, the turnaround. We also added additional best management practices along the driveway for what we call filter strips, pea stone, crushed stone, and gravel. The reason being, we were trying to avoid having drainage channel down the driveway and channeling into a single spot at the base of the driveway. This way, all along the edge of the driveway, the water will be recharged. And also the time of concentration will be increased by the filter strip, so you'll actually have less runoff. Those are the main revisions that were requested to the plan. As I say, I apologize for the time delay on it. It was just that there was a lot going on during the holidays. But essentially, I'm prepared to answer any questions you might have on this plan, again, with the understanding that I'll be asking for a continuance.
Okay, thank you very much. The new pole location, that's not determined yet, right? And are you going underground?
Right. The idea is to have a pole on the building side of the road, because we will have to cross. The poles are on the other side.
Okay.
And then from the pole down will be conduit.
Okay.
Underground buried conduit.
Again, a lot of stuff happening on this plan.
Yeah, there's a lot of utilities. All of the cable, television, everything will go through those conduits.
Okay.
There's, it's a fairly involved site where you have drainage, septic systems, tanks, piping, all that. I could tell you that the septic system has been approved by the Board of Health, and all the changes that you see before you tonight do not impact the design of the septic system. And for instance, you have setbacks from the Cultec chambers have to be 25 feet away from the septic system, so that was an addition, but it doesn't impact, Title V. Everything meets code.
Okay, and I think the steepness of the driveway was another concern, right, at the site walk?
Well, 11% slope in that area. If you go around that area, right across the street, there's a driveway that's more than 11%.
Okay.
So the 11% on a driveway is not all that bad. So the main thing is you want to grade it out fairly level before you get to the garage.
Right, and also no water coming down the driveway
Right,
into the
and so
street.
it has a crown to it. If you look at the driveway
I did.
design, you have a
Yep.
crown. And originally, we had a filter strip on one side. We provided it on both sides. And that allows the water to, number one, get off the pavement so you don't have icing. The main thing in the winter, it reduces the icing on the driveway.
Okay.
It also serves to recharge a majority of the driveway water.
Okay.
So stormwater management is not required on a single-family house lot, but I can assure you the design that you have before you exceeds stormwater management.
Great. And do you have an address? Is it 21 Birch Street for address from the building department? Yeah, I see 21, Lot 2R, 21.
Yeah,
Then
21 was added after Lot 2R. The number is 21.
So Lot 2R is 21 Birch.
Right.
Did you get you got an address?
Yes, we
Right.
got that from the town.
Okay.
Yeah,
So these two pages will be going together.
right,
This page too?
right.
Does it say the address on the?
It says 21 Birch Street.
Okay, good.
We received the numbers after the notice of intent.
That's fine.
Yeah, so.
Okay.
That's why I left it as Lot 2R, but I added the number.
Okay.
And if you look at the specifications with the timetable, that makes a reference to the DEP file number and the lot number.
Okay. Yeah, the lot number's a lot easier to track.
Well, it's a fair amount to digest, and that, like I say, it just took a while to do it.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, so that is 12/1, so the site walk was, I thought it was the 3rd. Wasn't it Saturday?
Sunday.
It was like 3 to 4 weeks,
Sidewalk was the Sunday.
like 3 weeks ago.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, 9 o'clock Sunday after
Oh,
after.
snowing.
Okay.
2 weeks
Okay.
after.
That's right, yep.
All right, board, any questions? Eric? Mike? Mark?
A couple questions. The site's completely vegetated, correct?
It's wooded, yes,
All wood.
right.
Are any trees being saved at least at the front of the property?
Yeah, the idea is to save as many trees as we can on the slope. It's just that a lot of the trees, because they're on the slope, they're leaning towards the wetland area, so anything that's over the house would have to be removed. But the intention is to leave as many trees as possible on the front slope. That's why we're not doing much grading on the front. The grading is below the house.
Can you show that on the plan?
Yeah, where the grading is,
I mean, I realize that area is probably mostly outside of the 100-foot buffer, but I mean, there might be an area between the road and the driveway that you could save some trees. So I'd like to.
I could put a tree line. The answer to your question is yes. We don't want to take down any more trees than necessary because we're looking to have some privacy from the road and the slope.
Right.
But I could add a tree line of that. But basically, if you look at the plan, you'll see the heavy line where the grading is.
Yes.
That's where the trees are going to be removed, where it's being regraded.
Right.
And the areas that are not being graded, existing grades, the trees are going to remain there.
But I can't I can't see that because I don't see a tree line shown on the plan. So
No, but you can see the dark line where we're doing the grading. That's what I'm explaining to you. Where the dark line is,
Right.
that's where the trees are going to be removed.
Right, I understand.
And where the existing grading is, the trees are not going to be.
I would like you to show the trees to be retained on. the
I'll put a tree line on there for you, sure.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
The second part is that you're grading on the edge of your driveway. You have a 2-to-1 slope that goes directly towards the neighbor's property. Can that slope be adjusted so that the water does not drain onto the neighbor's property?
Whereabouts on which
Is that-
On the north side of the driveway.
Isn't that the filtration?
And I'm just referring to, I don't know which plan this is. 2R.
This one is, so.
Yes, there is a stone wall there. There's a stone retaining wall along that property line.
Yeah,
There's a
looks like
2-to-1 slope directly to a stone
that
retaining wall.
Down the slope, over the retaining wall, and onto, looks like the neighbor's property.
Well, the water's going down there now.
But at that same volume.
Well, I'm not making any more water. It's the same amount of water. We are
Yes,
increasing the
right.
slope slightly, but again, if you look at the border wall detail, you'll see that there's riprap and an infiltration device, which is best management practice for this type of wall, so that the water doesn't cascade over the wall. The water is infiltrated into the gravel at the high point of the wall and also in the wall itself. It's choked with 2-inch stone, so the wall is an infiltration device itself. And that's fairly substantial. If you look at it, it's a, it will, number one, it will slow down the time of concentration, but it will also infiltrate the water. So the amount of water coming down will actually be less because there'll be, I would anticipate 30% to be infiltrated, just based on previous stormwater management projects that I've done. But we will not be increasing the drainage onto that property.
I don't know how you can't be when the topo lines are now pushing the water towards the property line instead of having it follow, go directly to the wetland down below. So,
If
hard
there
for me to
were,
understand how
if there were
less
no
water
wall,
getting that way, looking at these
well,
topo.
all I can tell you is that we're providing a retaining wall with an infiltration best management practice that's promulgated by the DEP on slopes of this type. It does reduce the drainage. I agree
There's no
with
way
you.
to move that slope
If
away
I had
from
a
the
2-to-1
property
slope, if I had a 2-to-1 slope and there were no wall there, I would be increasing the drainage. That would be irresponsible. I'd be increasing the drainage onto that property. I can also tell you that the wall, the way it's designed with the infiltration, you'll have a reduction in the velocity of the water. And you'll also have a reduction in the volume of water because it will be infiltrated through, there's 2 ways. You get volume storage in the stone itself, and then you get infiltration at the base because of the type of gravel that you're using. You're using riprap and 2-inch stone.
But this appears to show the wall base right on the property line. So if that's the case, how can there be additional infiltration below the wall?
It's
How
not
can
below
you-
the wall, it's before the wall. If you look at the detail, you see the detail
You
here.
just said there's a
Okay.
gravel drain at the base of the wall.
Right, at the base of the wall, this is the wall here. This is all the riprap, this is where your infiltration occurs. This width, essentially the straw bale, that's essentially where the property line is. You've already had your infiltration before you get to the property line.
Okay. So I think, could you just take a look at regrading that area to ensure or prove that no water will be exiting to any neighboring properties?
Yeah, what we can do, and I'll tell you what we can do. We can raise the height of the wall and make it so that you have a swale before the wall, so the water doesn't cascade over the wall and onto someone else's property.
Okay, just as long as it stays on the property, you don't have to give us an answer now, but I think that was the only
It'll end up
concern.
draining along the wall, and if you look at the grading, if you're looking at the plan right now, if you look at the grading above the wall near the road, you'll see that it's swaled.
Okay, well, that's fine. Steve, do you have any other questions or comments on this?
No, at this time.
Yeah, because you need to review the plan. So let's keep it moving. So that's Mark's concern, if you could take a look and then get an answer for that.
We can
And then the
add
tree
additional
line.
detail
Okay, okay.
to show us.
Okay. Okay, this is a public hearing. Anyone in the audience have questions or concerns regarding this hearing? Anyone online? Okay. January 9th, board? Continue the
Certainly.
hearing?
Absolutely, I make a motion to continue. Are we just talking 19 or are we talking
Yes.
19 and 21?
No,
Continue
19 at
Wait,
this time,
no,
well, 21.
yeah,
just 21.
just 21, lot 2R.
21 Birch Street and Lot 2R to the January 9th at 7 PM.
Motion made,
Second.
seconded by Eric. All those in favor?
KG Dudley, aye.
Eric Harris, aye.
Mark Mundermott.
Okay, next item, public hearing, continue notice of intent, Lot 3R, Birch Street. You have revised plans. Similar comments?
Yes, similar comments in that we created an additional plan with very similar sequence of construction, the timetable,
Okay, so
And-
that's going to be page 2 of the plans?
and that will be, this is the different, complete different set to go with this notice.
Okay, all right.
Two complete set, and if you want, here's another.
And anything noteworthy for revisions on Lot 3R?
Basically, we did similar additions to the plan. We added the Caltech drainage system for the building, and we added a turnaround for the driveway. We provided additional information relative to the design of the driveway, the crushed stone that we talked about, the ASTM stone. We also doubled the infiltration trench along the driveway so that you have it on both sides. And again, what that gives you is infiltration. It mainly stops icing in the winter. That's the main thing. The question that arose relative to the increasing drainage on someone else's property, that doesn't happen here because the lot, the abutting lot, is actually above us.
Could we grab a couple plans? Can I grab the revised plan?
This is the revised.
Yeah. We can share over here.
Here's another one for you.
Thank you.
What I also have that I'm providing to the commission is additional copies of a second plan, but this is all the same notes.
Okay.
The timetable.
Okay,
The only thing that's different is the address.
okay.
But it specifically, again, it specifically states that there's no work to occur during periods of high groundwater, frozen ground conditions after heavy rainfall. And no work will commence until there's been a hearing or a meeting at the site with the commission and/or their agents.
Okay, and this one is depicting a temporary construction entrance. The last one didn't have the note on that. Let me just double check that. Okay.
The last one didn't have what?
The note, the depiction of the temporary construction entrance, you removed that from the last one, right? From the last plan? I'll just double check it. We don't
Yeah.
have to go backwards.
Yeah.
All right, board, any questions?
Yeah.
Okay.
A bit ago, we said that Lot 2R is really 21 Birch Street. Lot 3R, 31 Birch?
No, it's 19.
19.
19.
Okay.
It goes 19, 21, and 27, and I'm not sure why they did that, but 19, 21, 27.
Perfect.
That's the original.
Okay, I think we'll have Steve review the revisions, and then we can see you on January 9th.
Yes, and as requested, I'll add the tree line to this plan as well in front of the building, because this has a similar slope adjacent to the road.
Okay.
So I'll have a tree line in front of both buildings, both lots.
Okay.
And this one doesn't need a revision to the retaining wall design, but it's a similar infiltrating.
Okay, and do we have notes, like no heavy machinery stored within the 100?
Yes.
Things like that?
Yeah,
Okay, and then no
There's
stock?
there's
oh, there's a little
substantial,
file already.
Here's that though.
it's covered in detail on the second sheet with all the
Yeah.
additional notes.
Okay, okay. All right. Anyone in the audience have questions or concerns regarding this hearing? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to continue.
Make a motion to continue this for Birch Street 19 or Lot 3R to January 9th at 7 PM.
Motion made,
Second.
seconded. All those in favor?
E.G. Dudley, aye.
Eric Harris, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Wonder, aye.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Have a good holiday. Notice of intent, Shore Road, Cliff Van Reed, possible votes. Did we have a request for continuance in writing?
Yeah. We saw them.
Okay.
Left on my desk.
I think,
Let me get that to see.
is the applicant on Zoom?
Fell asleep.
So how'd you leave it last time with this one?
That was continued last time.
Right, so it's been continued like.
You are correct.
So what are we doing?
Happy holidays.
So I believe that
Say hi to your wife.
we were
Needs a shave.
able to do so because it was still open. No, the other one's the one that was still open.
Looks like the engineer stopped in to verbally request the.
Okay, I see Mrs. Van Reed online, but not responding, so, what is the status with this? What, it's been,
Oh, there we go.
hi,
No, we're here. Listen, I'm both here.
okay,
We had asked Margaret to continue this.
okay. I guess, I don't want to continue and continue and continue. So what is the update on this? What is the delay?
We're waiting for some consideration and we are coming out to get, resolved and then go move forward with part two. But there's no, it makes no sense really to go forward with it right now. So I don't have this has to be postponed indefinitely for a while.
Right, so I may require re-notification to abutters. I'm just gonna have to double check the regs on that, because it's been many times. So we may need to re-notify. We'll let you know, but I would entertain a continuance to June 9th. And I'm gonna need an update with,
January 9th?
yes, what did I say?
June.
Yeah, I wrote June too. January 9th.
Looking forward to June.
If Steve, if you could check for best practices on re-notifying
Yeah, these
after.
letters are on the MACC.
Yeah, if you could double check that for me.
I'll get the.
Because people are buying, selling houses. At this point, the abutters are changing.
Yeah.
So in order for,
It's been too long.
yeah,
Nope, I agree.
so I'll entertain a motion to continue to,
To January
January.
9th at 7 PM.
yes.
So moved.
Motion made,
Second.
second by Mark. All those in favor?
Katie Dudley, aye.
Eric Arsai.
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Wonder, aye.
Okay, thank you. Okay, 7 PM, public hearing continued, amend notice of intent, 115 Shore Road. So we have an update from town council. Attorney Winter?
President, ready when you are.
I am ready.
Okay, I'm going to speak right into the microphone so hopefully everybody can hear me clearly. So there are, I guess, three things to give you an update on, and I can only see part of the room, so I don't know if council and the Millers are present.
They are present.
Okay, terrific. I hope they can hear me as well. So there are generally kind of three categories here, right? So there's the pipe that we've been talking about. There's this, to give you the update, the most recent update we had this morning. We were waiting on the peer review that the commission authorized. We are expecting it this week, but we don't have it for tonight. So this is the missing piece of the puzzle with respect to the pipe. You had asked for that. It's the only remaining thing that we don't have before we can wrap up your review of that pipe and the agreement we have with the members and their council, which otherwise remains intact. They're just waiting for authorization before proceeding with that. So that's conversations or through written correspondence with council is that he has withdrawn that application for the amended notice of intent. I think it still appears on your agenda on item 18, and I don't know if there's sort of a gap in the paperwork or what the current status as far as your file goes. I don't know what's reflected on your file, because I received correspondence from council, and I don't know if you're getting the same things. And so my understanding, council's president, correct me if I misspeak, is that it's been their intention to withdraw that. I've seen that in writing, we've discussed it, but I don't know if your file reflects that. So that's one thing you can ask council and the millers tonight while they're present. What's the status of that, and you can back that down. And that leads into the third and last category, which is their application for certificate of compliance as to the underlying order of conditions. Now, they provided a plan, and I believe on your agenda it reflects that you have an as-built plan from Howard Brian Winter, dated 2016-2022. But what we didn't have was the actual application, the form application for a certificate of compliance. I received that by email Friday, so not in time to make your agenda in any event. But I don't think one was ever filed with the commission. So today, Chief and I spoke, and I forwarded what I received to him, although, again, that was today, and wouldn't have had time to make your agenda. So that application, to my knowledge, is not on your agenda and not before you tonight. So that's the third outstanding issue. And I believe when that does come before you, there'll be some items to discuss. But let me stop there. So those are the three things, and see if you have any questions or anything I missed there from your perspective.
Okay, thank you very much. So the pipe, we're waiting on the peer review. The application in front of us for the amended NOI, we did not, as the commission, receive this notice that Attorney Winter did on October 3rd, 2022. I spoke with my clients and we withdraw the amended plan. So let's briefly start with that. Did you mean to request this board to withdraw your application for the amended notice of intent plan?
We're seeking, come up here, I would just say Howard Potash, 390 Main Street, Worcester, I represent the Millers. And I'm sorry, I couldn't hear the attorney very much.
Okay, he's asking, so you sent this correspondence to Attorney Winter on October 3rd, 2022. You CC'd Robert and Diane Miller and Henry Lane. You did not submit this request or correspondence to the Conservation Commission.
No, we're seeking tonight, that we filed a request for certificate of compliance with a plan which only shows, I have Mr. Kavorsky here and the engineer here, which only shows a couple of minor changes on the plan. They just simply, which is outlined in a letter. I have the original here to file.
Okay, if I could just interrupt you, so yes or no, did you send this correspondence to withdraw the application?
We're not withdrawing the amended plan. What we're seeking is compliance.
No.
We are withdrawing it. We're seeking compliance basically on the original plan, and because we've only had a couple of minor changes outlined, as outlined in the letter from the engineer who's here tonight. The approved handicapped access ramp was eliminated and a 4-foot walkway was installed. The native shrubs have been planted along the southerly lot line, and there is approved grading toward the lake was eliminated, and retaining walls were installed to keep existing natural grade. So they're only, and we also attached 310 CMR 1002, that this is only minor changes within the buffer zone, so we don't need an amended plan. We're seeking with the WPA Form 8A, a request for certificate for compliance on the original plan.
Okay,
That's what we're seeking.
I understand that.
Yeah.
But back to item 2, which I'm not sure if you heard Attorney Winter.
I didn't hear
Did
him,
you-
I'm sorry, I couldn't
okay.
hear.
So you submitted this letter on October 3rd to Attorney Winter, not to the commission, to withdraw the amended plan. So is that your intent tonight, to withdraw your application in front of this board?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Attorney Winter, shall we vote to accept their request for withdrawal for their application?
Let's nail that down.
Okay.
Okay. So I have a correspondence that was sent to the town council and CC'd Robert and Diane Miller and Henry Lane, not to the commission. So that was October 3rd, 2022, requesting to withdraw their application for an amended notice of intent, DP number 1430914. Is that their new number? That's a new number.
0914.
Is a new number.
That I have.
Is a second?
Well, they're amending their existing number.
Okay. Okay. So I will entertain a motion to,
No, that was gotta be there.
it's a new one. Is it original?
I would have thought that was there.
I think Mr. Kavorsky could shed light on that.
Well,
Did they get a new number?
no, we didn't.
No,
Oh,
they're amending.
hold on one second.
Amendment wouldn't get a new number, even if you asked.
No.
for
Okay.
amendment. You wouldn't get a new
All
number.
Okay. So let me call for the vote to accept the request by the applicant to withdraw their application for the amended notice of intent.
You calling for a vote?
Yes.
KG Dudley, aye.
Well, a motion, sorry.
Okay, I move to accept their request to recall their amended order.
Withdraw.
Withdraw their amended order.
Okay, motion made,
Second.
seconded by Mike. All those in favor?
KG Dudley, aye.
Eric Harris, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Mongemont.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, now, you've mentioned this application for
I have it.
your certificate of compliance, yes, but it was submitted not to this Conservation Commission. So our agent never received the request. It was sent to our attorney, and then CC'd Robert and Diane Miller, Glenn Kravosky, Alpha Omega Engineering. Never was forwarded to this commission. That's why it's not on the agenda.
Be sent to the commission's office.
Yes.
It was sent to the commission's office, and I was dealing with your attorney on the issue.
So what is the email address that it was sent to the community development office?
I can't tell you, well, my paralegal sent it in, but it was sent to your address here, and I have copies, WPA Form 8A, along with the letter from Alpha Omega, and I also have tonight with me a copy of the opinion that it complies with the Mass Code of Regulations from Mr. Kavorsky, and both the engineer and Mr. Kavorsky are here.
Right, so this was addressed December 2nd, 2022.
Correct.
So that was Friday.
Right.
Okay.
When I got the form and I got the information, I immediately emailed it to Mr. Winter and sent it on, and talked to Mr. Winter. And we've been talking regularly on the issue.
Okay, so we didn't receive this before the meeting.
Well, I believe it was sent to you. As soon as I got it, within the hour, it was sent in.
Right. Okay. So, Attorney Winter, did you have any comments on that?
Not substantively, just procedurally. So, just 2 points. I was in court on Friday, but it was provided to my email address on Friday, and I provided it to Mr. Zisk today. So in any event, it wouldn't have made the agenda because that's less than 48 hours, business hours. And second, I assume one was sent to the town in some form or fashion, but again, to my knowledge, it hasn't been stamped in as received. So it's not on your agenda, and, and you haven't actually received a copy. You've only received it sort of vicariously through me forwarding an email. So again, I hate to get bogged down in procedural things, but that matters. Until you have a proper filing stamped in before you on your agenda, I hate to see you get ahead of yourself.
Right, so all correspondences must be addressed to the Conservation Commission if you're requesting approval of any kind. So,
That's what we received.
okay, I have, so Attorney Potash, you had November 16th, 2022. So this would have been early on. I enclosed the following as-built plan. I forwarded 2 copies to the Conservation Commission. I have pictures to present to the commission on December 5th. All work is complete on the order of conditions. The sill fence and repair of potholes are a permanent obligation to be maintained. We await approval to do the pipe replacement. So this was stamped in November 21st, and it says that it was to Robert and Diane Miller, Steve Ziss, and Miss Tracy Sharkey.
Yeah, they should do everything to the commission, but that letter is as-built plan, which I scanned, and whatever information was in that package is in everyone's package.
So there was no application, the 8A application wasn't included in this correspondence for the request for the
I didn't
certificate?
have the 8A application at that point. I didn't have that from the engineer.
Okay.
But this, what he gave us, I gave to everybody.
Okay.
in everyone's package.
So, yeah, so we do have the as-built, and we have the letter that was submitted.
Yeah. As soon as I received the Form 8A from the engineer, request for certificate of compliance, would a letter of what was done, which is required by 8A, I forwarded along immediately upon receipt, and also today I received from Mr. Koborski a memo with 310 CMR 1002, but the changes made are minor, and I forwarded that, and I have a copies with me tonight. So as soon as I received the 8A, I filed it on Friday.
It's untimely.
Well, the only thing I can say, if it's untimely, my clients are leaving Sunday for Florida.
Yep.
And they won't be back to the end of March.
That's why I kept our Zoom going.
They won't be
From the
back.
moon.
They won't back to the end of March, and we had offered, through Mr. Winter, we had offered, and that once the certificate of compliance was approved, we would go ahead at our expense and replace the pipe under Shore Road at my client's expense, and we had received the consent, because most of the pipe would be on property of Douglas Properties. We had received the consent from counsel for Douglas Properties that they would allow us to do so, and prove with Mr. Koborski as our consultant that we would replace the pipe, an 8-inch pipe with a 12-inch concrete pipe at our expense once the certificate of compliance was approved.
Right,
But,
so I'm sorry, if I
yeah.
could just, Mr. Kravetsky would like to say something.
Do you mind if I speak a little bit?
Please,
Okay.
please.
Just-
Name and address again.
Just-
Yes.
Sure. Thank you very much for your time. Glenn Kowalski from EBT Environmental. We apologize that you didn't receive directly you did receive the as-built. I did talk to my clients and Mr. Potash, and we did have correspondences with Raul Alpha to also back up the request for certificate of compliance, which had a no on it that we did not have a letter. This is on page 2 at the top. And yes, if someone stamps the application, the request for certificate, if they stamp the plan, yes, they're supposed to issue a substantial compliance letter. So I made that case late last week that you need the substantial compliance letter. Alpha did provide the letter, and my office did change the no to a yes for the letter
Okay.
portion. So we will supply you with the full request for certificate of compliance with an as-built, no matter if you already have it. I'm going to
Yes.
submit the entire
Yeah,
package as
to the
one.
commission.
We will also submit when we just put together a little bit about the regulation and where, if there was some minor changes on a plan that don't affect the resource area, there's a few places within the reg that I put in my
Okay.
letter of today.
And we'll look forward to reviewing that.
Sure you
Yeah.
will. And
Yeah.
so that whole package then would go to Mr. Zisk, obviously, and to yourself.
The commission.
And the
So
and yourself.
We want to clarify that this is to the chair and the commission members.
Through the
Not-
chair and the
not-
commission, I understand,
Not specifically.
not directly to the attorney.
Or to Steve.
Right.
He is the agent for the
We
commission.
understand, we submit.
Yes, thank you.
And that
Thank
applies
you.
to any butter or
Yes.
anyone else.
And all the butters need to submit any supplemental material to the commission
So just to be fair.
also.
Any information I get, so I did get this supplemental information, whatever, I got a lot of information today from the butters and from Attorney Winter. So late today, I printed all that out, so whatever supplemental information there is, I forward that
It's in the files.
always to the commission, because I'm just a conduit. So to be fair, that information you submitted late today, I did put in everyone's package along with letter from the butters, maybe 2 or 3 letters from the butters, emails from the butters, if they can address the commission when that happens. Just the conduit that I'm transporting that to the commission. So,
Yeah.
to the best
So we
of my
just got to keep the contact clear
Sure.
on
It's
where
the
we're sending
commission, we
information.
understand.
Yeah.
And if I go through the chairman.
Yes.
We would also like any letters that are coming in from the abutters. And just as we would submit information to you, if the abutters do want that information, obviously, they normally would go through you to get it, unless we had a direct conduit to them.
No,
but
we don't.
We don't. I think we would.
I haven't seen any, or my clients haven't seen any letters from butters.
Right, but we'll submit it to the commission, and
Yes.
then
To be
we'll get
fair,
it
I'll
back.
print whatever I have and give it to the keeper of the records of the commission.
Yeah.
And then people can pick it up through her.
Yes,
PDF, we'll
Yeah.
request it then. We'll put a
Yes.
formal request in.
Yes.
It could just be PDF, though.
good.
All right, so we'll make sure you have all of what we have, so maybe we can take it up, or you possibly at the next meeting.
Right, as long as you get the information
Well,
on,
this
it'll
will
be on the
more than a
agenda.
couple of days.
Yeah,
to
that's
get it.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, just not one day before.
No, we don't, Mr. Potash thought that going through the attorney might have been that standard procedure through
But
attorneys, but it
even
is-
one day before the meeting, not
No,
even
we
one full
understand, we
day.
understand. They were playing, I just got brought back in.
Yeah, no, I
Thank
understand.
you.
Yep.
Just want to make sure
You're
that you get everything.
Yes,
That's why
thank you.
haven't seen-
So Attorney Winter, do you have anything else for that? Do I need to formally close? Yeah, do I have to formally close that public hearing also? I've been missing my closing public hearings. So I think at this time, I'll take a motion to close the hearing of the previously.
So moved.
Motion made to close the public hearing for amended notice of intent 115 Shore Road. Second?
Second.
Second. Motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
Katie Dudley, aye.
Eric Harris, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Fungio, aye.
Okay, thank you. All right, sorry about that, Attorney Winter. Did you want to add anything? Could you hear?
No, I'm all set. What I didn't hear, the audio is breaking up. It sounds like when more than one person is speaking, it can't get it all. So I just lose it when there's crosstalk. But I think I heard enough, and I think you've disposed of the amended order. You've now set the procedures necessary to get the 8A in front of you. So I think you've covered the bases.
Okay, thank you. All right, so I think that's it. Board members, any other questions? No? Okay,
Steve, see you January 9th, I believe it might be?
yes.
As long as we have it in time.
Yes.
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 Oh, that I would add, my clients
Okay.
won't be here on January 9th.
They can zoom in.
Okay, can zoom in, but
Still, we're still going to have remote participation available.
Unlike Webster, which I was in tonight, they have no more. Yeah, I thought that was interesting, too.
All right, so we're all set for
Okay,
January 9th.
yes, thank you very much for.
And I
waiting.
apologize, I'll make
appreciate-
sure that everything goes in properly to you.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
We thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, board, anything else? Good? All right, Steve, anything? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So
Motion made, Mike,
Second.
second by Mark. All in favor?
KG Dudley, aye.
Eric Harris, aye.
Mike,
Yeah, sorry.
Mike,
Yes,
Mike?
thank you, thank you.
Please vote to
Do you
allow
want-
us to adjourn.
Mike Greco, aye.
okay, okay, thank you very much.
Discussion.